Pull cord's working well, but I think it could use a little more tension. So I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit, and I'll show you how to do that. Beautiful. Got a Craftsman weed whacker, and it's got a busted pull cord. This one's a little more involved than some of them that are sitting on top. You just unscrew it. I'll show you how to do it. And I'm going to start down here at the handle. This has got to come off. This is going to have to come off. And this shroud's probably going to have to come off. Kind of a nuisance. It takes Torx bit. Little short screw right in the middle there. Got a mud dauber working in there. I guess that need to come off anyways. Another little short one goes right into the shaft there. And this has a nut on the back side. Oh! She lived through it. Not the best workbench here, but nothing got damaged. Landed on the gas tank right here. Just a little scuff. Let's take it into the workbench. Work on this. There we go. All right, let's break it down. Now these are going into metal, so it has the fine thread. Versus when it goes into plastic, you get the coarse thread. So pay attention to that. All right, pull this cover off, which also frees our fuel tank. Set this aside with the screws nearby for it. Keep them all together. Take the spark plug out. And I need to put a string in here to hold that piston down, because I've got to take the clutch and the shaft housing off. And they spin with the crankshaft. To stop the crankshaft, you got to hold the piston one way or another. There's our fuel tank. I'm going to leave that. Oh, I'm going to disconnect that here. And the supply line's the top one. The return's the bottom one. All right, we can flip this over. Now I've got to release this. And it actually takes a Torx bit, but I don't have one, so I'm going to use an Allen. I think it takes a T15. There we go. And there we're released. And we lift that off. We'll set that aside. And now we need to take the clutch off. And it's flattened out here. Or you can just grab the clutch. I'm just going to grab the clutch. And on here is marked off with an arrow going this way. So it's typical lefty-loosey. But if you're pulling the clutch off a chainsaw, typically they loosen, which is backwards. So you got to watch for that. Okay. And there we go. And there's a washer here also. Leave those together. Now we'll pull this housing off. Good. And all our screws are going into metal, so they're going to be that fine thread. And I'm going to set this aside, but leave that all hooked up. Tip this upside down, the screws will fall out, which is okay. And now we're into our recoil here. And I'll take this retainer off here. And these just go into plastic. And we'll lift this out. And that little lip, there's a little lip on here, that goes down. It's got one of those press washers on there. There it is. And that's just a press fit on there. You can see that. These lips here squeeze onto that plastic shaft. Now we can pull this out. There's our spring. And there's another spring in here. And our broken cord. I take this off. You can see where that lifts out there. And I'm just going to measure what I took out. This with this. And I'll cut a new rope. I've got to get this old rope out of here. So I'm going to peel this back. Unfortunately, I'm wrecking it. Just a sticker that goes over it. But that's the only way to get that out. Pull this out. And I've got a new old rope here. I save them from throwaway lawnmowers. But this one's in good shape. So I'm just going to push this through. Now when you run the string, you got to put it through here first. And then we can feed it into here. And we need kind of a tight knot in there. It just fits in that little pocket. So I'm just going to tie a knot right in the end here. Pull it through, and I'm going to pull on it good and hard. See how that tightened up there? That still leaves room for that spring to operate in there. All right. I took this off, this spring. We've got to lock this notch in with that down there. All right. There we go. All right, we're locked into that bottom spring. And now I can put this clip back on. I think what I'm going to do is just flatten this out just a touch with a hammer so that I get a good press fit on there, because I don't have another one of these. Make sure that I'm all set up right here before I put my collar on there. I want to put a little white lithium grease in there for lubrication, even though it's just plastic on plastic. But this spring will appreciate a little lubrication. Now I can put this clip on, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a socket that's a little too big. Perfect. And I'm going to use that to press this on. There we go. Just like from the factory. Beautiful. Okay, we've got everything together, and pull cord's working well, but I think it could use a little more tension, so I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit, and I'll show you how to do that. What you do is pull the cord out, and see this little notch right here? With the cord pulled out, I'm going to grab the cord here, so I've got the cord out there. I'm going to grab the cord on the back side here, and I've got to hold this. So I'm pulling this up through. There we go. I got to leave this on the spool and put that in that notch. Put the rope in that notch. And I want to tighten this. So keeping the rope in that notch, I'm going to take this around clockwise, turning this clockwise. There we go. That gives me a little more tension. Now I'm going to pull this back through, and I can release that. And you can see I've got more tension now. And that's just about perfect there. So I'm going to leave that just like that. We're all set to put it back together. And we'll put this collar back on, put our screws in. And you got to be careful with these plastic into plastic and starting all of them. But I want to do them by hand, at least start them by hand. And if I'm not sure they're going in straight, I'll turn it counterclockwise till it clicks. Now I know I got it going in straight. Otherwise you're going to start a new thread pattern in the plastic. And if you ever do it again, might not hold the screw. And we can throw this back on. That slides right over there. Okay, we'll just slide this housing on. And we'll take it back outside and hook the rest up. Drop our screws in. Well, we'll slide this rascal back in there. There we go. Perfect. Now I need to drop this little screw in here. Good, we're all locked in, and I can lock this down. Good. And now I just need to put the throttle and kill switch handle on. Got to make sure to get this cable in that channel. There we go. Very good. Throttle's working. We're set to go. Now usually I say, and that's how easy it is to change out a pull cord on a Craftsman weed trimmer, but I'm not going to say that. These things are kind of a nuisance to work on, but if you have one, I hope that was a help. If it was, give her a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and I look forward to helping you with other projects online.